Hi, my name is Griffin Puatu, and I voice the happy side of ENA in Power Potluck for JoelG.
Connections and bonds that are meant to transmit cheerfulness. And even so, I don't recognize this strain of joy.
Getting into character for ENA was interesting because ENA's existed for a couple of years now, so I had a lot to draw from in terms of what I wanted to do with the voice and the character. The difficult part was actually sort of asking myself where this character was coming from. So the happy side of ENA is bright and cheerful, but what I noticed in sort of my observations and while I was sort of getting into character, ENA's happy version kind of exists in this mode where, you know, when someone's like not excessively over the top happy, but just kind of like happy all the time. Happiness is one of those weird emotions that should and usually just comes out of nowhere. Something happens and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. But then it's kind of gone and sort of fleeting. Some people I've noticed can sort of exist in this sort of middling happy phase. You know what I mean? Where they're just kind of always very bright and whoa, it's kind of that wide-eyed wonder, childlike happiness that everything is just so new and so interesting. And I think that was sort of my through line into the character of playing ENA. The kind of happiness that she exhibits isn't so much this like, whoa, like this crazy manic happiness. It's more of this sort of like control, not control, but just sort of this subtle and constant sort of, yeah, everything is just so wonderful and perfect. Marvelous and interesting indeed. Though I feel the gratification of the audience, I can't sense any change in me. The interesting side in Power of Potluck is that the happy side of ENA, I think, is confronted by things that don't make sense to her. So finding sort of those moments is interesting. I was reminded of a friend who, in social situations, they're very kind of happy, kind of bright, just kind of person, and they have this sort of face on them. But anytime something kind of throws off, they kind of take this sort of moment of like, where they go, and then they kind of pick up again, like they're like, oh, I'm feeling a little bit sad. Let's pick up the happiness a little bit more. And then they kind of resume. It's like a quick pause and then right back to being happy. Voicing ENA was kind of finding that sweet spot of just sort of glazed over, just very sweet and very sort of happy and wide-eyed, but not the sort of like exuberant momentary flash of happiness that I think is more natural. I think emotions are indicators of action. Emotions, they sort of move you towards motion. And so anytime you sit too long in an emotion, it sort of takes on this new form. So I think a person, an entity, whatever ENA is, that exists always as one emotion, and in my side's case, it's happiness. It's not the sort of like, this is so much fun, awesome. It's, this is so much fun, awesome. It's this sort of just like glazed over malaise of happiness. It's very, very strange. But I've definitely seen people in real life who can kind of sit in that odd mode of happiness. And it's almost, it is very sweet and charming, but it's a little unnerving too. It definitely fits in with the world, but also doesn't. Somehow every character in all of these shorts are still as jarring and strange as the things happening around them and the other people around them. I am so excited to be a part of this series. I'm excited to work on more. I'm so happy and thankful that people have enjoyed Power Potluck. I mean, there's an amazing team of animators, writers, musicians, and people who put all of this together, all headed up by Joel, who's done an amazing job. And I'm just so happy to be involved. So thank you guys for the warm reception, and I'm just so excited to do more work on this. So